Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another episode of UnMuted. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I tried to give it a couple of minutes so people can start chiming in. Like, share, call somebody, text somebody, and let them know that we are on. I am your moderator, Felicia Franklin, and this is episode number 4 of UnMuted. If you can hear me okay, can I get a thumbs up in the comments, please? Hey, Danielle, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Jamar, thank you for tuning in. If you can hear me, can I get a thumbs up in the comments? Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for tuning in. This is another episode of UnMuted. Hey, Jamar, can you hear me? Are we good? Let me get a thumbs up or yes or okay or something. If everything is good. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. My name again is Felicia Franklin. I am your moderator, your host for UnMuted. And I want to thank you all for giving us some time on this Thursday evening. So UnMuted. What is UnMuted all about? Hey, Felicia. Thank you. Honey, I was wondering about you today. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Miss Vivian. Thank you for tuning in. Laquita. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you all are tuning in with me on this evening. We have a hot topic that we're going to talk about. We may even have a special guest to pop in. My mentor, former retired major from my unit, Dr. Miranda Griffin. If she gets the opportunity, she's going to pop in on tonight and share some things with us. So I'm so glad that you all are tuning in on tonight. Again, hello, hello, hello. If you could please, and tonight we are talking about suicide. All things suicide. We're going to go over some numbers, some stats, and not just talk about just that, but how we even get to that place. So getting started, first and foremost, again, my name is Felicia Franklin. Thank you all for tuning in to UnMuted. UnMuted was it's something that I have been preparing for a couple of years. And I know if you tune in before, you've heard me say this, but for the people that have not caught the show, I want to make sure that I started off the right way to let people know where UnMuted actually came from. It was a point in my life where I felt alone. I felt stuck. I was ashamed. I was ashamed of my past. I was ashamed of things that I had gone through in my past. I was ashamed of some things that I had done in my past. And I truly believed that I would never get over those things, that I would never get through those things. In my heart, I held on to those things. And I pushed it away. I didn't talk about it. I didn't let anyone too close to me. And it muted me. It stifled me. It weighed me down. Because of those things. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't tell anybody because I felt like I was going to be judged. I felt like I was going to be misunderstood. I felt like I was going to be rejected, rejected from my peers, rejected even in my family because of the things that I had gone through or the things that maybe I had done that I felt that other people had not done. And I didn't look like what I had been through. On the outside to people, I looked one way, but on the inside, and it was destroying me on the inside. I maintained on the outside, but on the inside, I was going down. And I'm talking about myself. And I would constantly ask God, why me? Why am I having to be the one that gets hurt? Why am I going through Why did this have to happen to me? Why did that happen to me? Why do I not get the love back that I give? And finally, after praying and praying and praying, I got an answer. And when I got that answer, I stopped asking God, why me? And I started saying, well, why not me? I knew I was here for something more. So I wanted to change. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be better. I didn't want to be bitter. I didn't want to be cynical. I didn't want to be spiteful. I didn't want to be envious of anything or anyone. So I prayed for healing. I prayed to be made whole, because it's one thing to ask for healing or want to be healed, but are you whole? And so through my pain, through my rejection, through my isolation, through all of my hurt, all of the situations that kept me down, kept me muted, kept me isolated, I realized part of my purpose. And in that purpose is where UnMuted was birthed. The very situations that kept me mute are meant for me to open up and discuss with other people. Because if I went through it, then I know other people are going through it as well. This is a judge-free zone, so we're not judging anybody. We're simply talking about the things that people don't want to talk about. However, the things that they do need to talk about. So here we are, ready to pull people through, just like we were pulled through. Someone was praying for me when I didn't know to pray for myself. So now I'm praying for someone else, even if they feel like they don't have anyone to pray for them. So without further ado, welcome to UnMuted, and let's get started. So again, if you could if you share with someone that you feel that may need to hear something that we're talking about. Tonight, our topic is suicide. Suicide is real. Check on me. I am not okay. How many times have we been asked the question, are you okay? Is everything okay? Well, how are you? And we simply said, I'm fine. Everything's good. But deep down, we really were not okay. I'm guilty of it. I've done it several times. On the outside, I look like everything is okay. I'm business as usual, but on the inside, it's not the same. People are hurting. People are going through whatever the situation may be, whatever the situation is that's causing the individuals to go through, that's causing the individuals to have the different issues. That's not the concern. I'm not concerned with what the person did wrong, what caused the person to really get in that situation at this time. I simply want to make sure that you are okay. Check on your strong friends. They are not okay, especially in this time of the pandemic. Now, I'm a person of stats, so I'm going to talk about a few numbers here or there, pull up some information, some factual information from Psychology Today in some different places, and then some real world topics that day-to-day conversations that I've had with different people regarding what's going on with the pandemic. Now, everyone is saying, oh, this is an uncertain time. This is one thing that is certain. God is not a man that he shall lie, nor the son of man that he shall repent. So whatever he said, it shall be. Now, somebody might say, oh, she getting churchy. Let me check out. If that is your portion, I understand that. But this is real world, because someone needs to hear this. I've been in different capacities, working in law enforcement. I worked in the prison system for years. I'm still in law enforcement, but in a different capacity right now. I'm even military. I've taught suicide prevention, in the military capacity. That's what I was really known for, teaching on suicide, doing the different trainings and whatnot. But that wasn't enough for me. So I joined a couple of organizations, one in particular, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Now, by all means, please put a pin in some of these, in some of the organizations, because if you feel that you need you want to reach out, or you need to reach out, or you're just not sure, if you feel like you're unsure about your own feelings, It is okay to say, I am not okay. It is perfectly fine to say, you know what, I'm not okay right now. Everything is not good right now. You know, I really need to talk to someone right now. It's fine. It's perfectly fine, because every day is not going to be roses. Some people say roses don't smell good anyway. Every day is not going to be peaches and cream. You're going to have different things that you go through. But one thing is for sure, you are not the only one that has gone through. Now, oftentimes we go through situations and we feel that we are the only ones to go through those situations. We don't see a way out. We feel so weighed down. We feel so bogged down. You can go through a relationship and you feel like your world is coming to an end. Different tragedies can happen to you and you feel like you cannot move past it. One thing being rape, sexual assault, sexual abuse. Those are stressors that can cause one to feel like they are alone. They have no one to talk to. They have no one to confide in. And you, in turn, you hold it in. You feel like because you have no one, you feel like you have to hold it in. You isolate yourself from everyone. Everything starts changing. Your body starts changing. Your mental health starts changing. Thank you, Felicia, for dropping those the phone number into the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. But I want to let you know that there's always help. There's always help. Even if you feel that you don't deserve it, still reach out to someone. So right now, now these are 2019/2020 numbers. Suicide rates are listed at the age-adjusted rates. So suicide is the 10th cause of death in the United States. The 10th. In 2018, 48,000 plus Americans died by suicide. That means someone that you knew took their life. Whether you knew them through someone else, someone knew someone that took their life. And I knew some people in 2018, unfortunately, that died by suicide. A couple of years ago at one of the high schools, suicide hit really close to us. That same year, because I deal in that capacity and I work in that capacity, I get the statistical numbers. That same year, in just about every private school in our area, there was a suicide. One particular high school had two. We're missing something somewhere. Our children should not be at a place where they feel that they cannot come to us, where they feel that they have no one to turn to. As adults, we shouldn't be so secluded and isolated or caught up in our own selves that we have no one to turn to, no one to talk to. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with us as a human race? What's wrong with us as family members? What's wrong with us as friends? What's wrong with us as coworkers? You know, there's a problem there, because if a person gets to the result where they take their lives, they feel like they had no one. And if someone is in the vicinity that I'm working in, or I go to school in, or that my child is in, I don't want anyone to feel that they can't come to me. Am I not approachable? Let's talk about that. Are we making ourselves approachable to other people? Some of us carry the titles of pastor, minister, first lady, evangelist, missionary, elder, bishop. We carry these titles, but are we approachable to others, to someone that's hurting? Do we turn away? Do we make them feel that they're insignificant? Well, one easy way to answer that question: have you ever felt insignificant? I felt that way. I felt that I didn't have anyone to turn to. I felt that if I did discuss my situation with someone, they would talk about me. Before I could get it out good, they would text someone and let someone else know what I was going through. My situation will be around the family before I can get healed from it good. That's a problem. Everyone at the job knew what I was going through, but I only told one person. That's a problem. Oftentimes, we are our own worst enemy. In 2018, aside from the fact that there were 48,000 plus suicides, the same year, there were 1.4 million attempted suicides. 1 in 4. So if we got in rows, depending on how many people is in the room with you, someone is going to take their life. Someone is going through an issue or issues on top of issues that they feel they have no way out from. And we have no one that we feel comfortable enough to talk to. We should all have a confidant. We should all have a confidant. Someone that we can confide in. Oftentimes, that's not the case. Because it's just like the game that we used to play in school. You whisper in one person's ear. And by the time you tell that person, the story gets relayed differently from person to person to person. By the time it meets the end of the road, the story is completely changed. That's how our stories are changed. If you confide in one person and you tell this person what's really on your heart and what you're going through, all of your business is out and it's changed and it's multiplied before the end of the day. That's a problem. And that causes people to feel more and more isolated. And that causes people it changes their mental health. Because when a person is holding things in constantly, they can't get it out, then you get lost in your thoughts. How many times have we gotten lost in our own thoughts? How many times have we gotten lost in our own situations? Right now with the pandemic, the social distancing and the isolation is causing another pandemic in people. It's causing people to have fears. Just recently, well, I'll say within the last couple of months, a celebrity took her life. She was the writer of a TV series. The sad thing is, days before she took her life, she actually made a post on social media. She was not okay. My point about that is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your status is. Problems don't have a name on them. Problems are just problems. We're going to all go through something. But being able to be there for someone else. If she had someone that she could get those thoughts out to, would she be here with us right now? Several celebrities. So money is not the issue. Oh, well, because I don't have this, or because I don't have that, or I don't have enough money to pay my bills, or I'm going through this, so it calls me to do that, or I'm going through this. No. Just as many people that don't have take their lives, that same number of people that do have. So if you're sitting, I remember Bishop T.D. Jakes. He made a comment in one of his sermons. He said, it doesn't have a name, it doesn't have a face. It can follow you and it can sit by you at that hot tub, right there in that jacuzzi. It can sit in the table right at the table with you. at that little shack house. It can sit at the boardroom table with you, or it can be sitting right there in a fast food restaurant. But what are we going to do about it? How can we combat this problem? Because there's organizations out there, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Yellow Ribbon, different organizations. Money is spent year after year after year, millions of dollars to help this. But it's still a rising number pandemic. That's a pandemic in itself. So what are some of the signs? What are some of the risk factors? What are some of the stressors? Well, there are several. But before I get into those, I want to talk to you about how to talk to someone that may or may not be having suicidal thoughts, attempts. When you're dealing with someone that expressed suicidal tendencies, you want to just ask them right out, are you thinking of harming yourself? A lot of people think that you're putting the person at danger if you ask them if they feel like they're going to harm themselves. That's not the case. By talking about suicide, it's not going to make them want to commit suicide even more or take their lives even more. It's actually going to help them release. So you want them to talk about it. You want to get it out. It's just like when you go through a situation. I know I'll use a breakup. When a person goes through a breakup, oftentimes they just want to talk about it. They want to talk about it. They want to cry about it. They want to get it out. Have you ever ran across a person that they just constantly talk about it over and over and over because they need to get a release? What if they couldn't get that out? What if they could not get that release? What would that do to them if they couldn't get that release? So you want them to talk about it. You want them to get it out. You want to just come and ask, just come right out and ask. Are you thinking of harming yourself? Do you have a plan for this? Why do you want to die? Why are you thinking about suicide? Are you really thinking about suicide? Well, what's the plan? By you asking them, what's the plan? It's not going to make them want to do it even more. Because if they truly have a mind to do it, then they've thought it out. That's what we want to get out. If they have a plan, then they're really close. So you want to get them help. You want to get the individual help. That friend that you hadn't checked on in a while, that everything seems A-okay with that individual. Oh, she's strong. She's so strong, she can make it through anything. I guarantee you that's the friend that you might want to call and check on. Because everyone thinks that she's strong and she can handle everything, she might be close to a breakdown. That man, that guy friend, your homeboy, or whatever, oh, he keeps bouncing back. Nothing can stop him. You might want to check on him. He may be going through. And because everyone thinks he's so strong, he does not know how to express that he is not okay. That single mother that makes a way regardless for her kids, if she has to work 3 jobs and still trying to go to school and raising her kids and, no one is helping her and she's catching it here. But she always survives. She always thrives. She always bouncing back. You might want to check on her. She may not be okay. And she may not know how to express, I am not okay. Everything looks good. The bills are paid this month. My kids are well, but I'm not doing well. Well, what's wrong? I don't know what's wrong, but something is wrong. If a person is hurting and they can't put their finger on why exactly it is they're hurting, they may be going through a state of depression. They may have some anxieties that they don't really know how to put their finger on it. It's okay to talk to them. Acting out. If an individual is drinking, acting out of the ordinary, just excessive drinking, there's a problem somewhere. That's a risk factor. That's something that you might want to kind of keep an eye on. Drastic weight gain, drastic weight loss. 3 weeks ago, you saw him and he was this. Now he either gained 100 pounds or he lost 100 pounds. He said he hadn't been working out, hadn't doing anything different, but the stress is taking him down. Someone that is constantly hurting, but they don't know where the pain is coming from, but they're hurting. It can become a mental thing. In their minds, they've constantly in their minds felt that they've drafted it up in their minds and now they're feeling it. That's a problem. Legal issues, that's a risk factor. Divorce, those are risk factors. Everyone doesn't have the same coping mechanism. Just because you go through something one way doesn't mean the next person is going to handle that the same. Because everyone doesn't handle situations the same. And we oftentimes we forget that. We think that, oh, I made it through this. Oh, he'll be okay. Oh, she'll be okay. Oh, I got over that easy. Oh, yeah, I went through this and I went through that, but I'm okay. Just because you made it through okay doesn't mean the next person is built like you. Because something that took you down may be the water rolling off someone else's back. So it's not for us to judge what a person is going through. It's for us to be there to help the individual get through whatever they're going through so they can grow through it. One of the things I say the most is we're all ex-somethings. We've all done something. We've all been through something. So helping someone else get through what we've already gone through is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be there for other people. We're supposed to help others. You never know what could be the straw that broke, like they say, broke the camel's back. A simple good morning could change someone's outlook. To ask a person, how are you? And stay long enough to let them answer the question. But we often get so caught up in ourselves that we, oh, hey, how are you? And keep going. I'm guilty of it. I am guilty of it. Hey, how are you? Keep going. How about we stop 2 seconds to get an answer, to let them know, oh, I'm waiting. Good morning. How are you? That's great. If you need anything, I'm here. What's wrong with that? Because when we're going through, we want the same thing. It's so easy to forget what you felt like in your moment, in your low moment. But I know I recently saw, and I like to see it. I actually like to read this. I recently read something that said, don't forget to thank God when you get what you prayed for. Don't forget how you felt when you were going through. You want to help someone else get through it also. That's what we're here for. That's what we're supposed to do. Because that's someone's daughter. That's someone's son. That was someone's husband. That was someone's wife. That's someone's child. And the sad thing is, the suicidal rate from 18 years to 24 years is ridiculous. What about babies taking their own lives because of peer pressure? Because of they don't have this like the next person. They don't have that like the next person. Cyberbullying. It's the world that we live in, but it's up to us to help make the change, because we can talk about it until we're blue in the face. But if we're not going to do anything about it, it's never going to change. And it's not just someone else's problem. It's all of our problem. It's a we problem. Because if it hits your house, and that's what we don't want to talk about. Oh, that was so-and-so, so-and-so. But what if that so-and-so, so-and-so was your so-and-so, so-and-so? Back in 2014, I had just taken over the suicide prevention program in my unit. Actually, I had to build up the program because it was non-compliant. Once I got the program built up, my first case was an 18-year-old. He had not even gone off to basic training yet. Less than 2 months later, I lost a family member to suicide. I could understand how that mother and father felt losing their child, because I would be devastated if I lost my child. And less than 2 months later, I lost a family member. It was unheard of in my family. First of all, we don't really talk about it in the Black community. That's one problem right there, because we're not exempt. But it rocked my family. As a matter of fact, my family is still hurting, because that was a child. He was a brother. He was an uncle. He was a dad. And less than 6 months later, his mom passed, which is my great aunt. And the sad thing is, I really believe she was mourning her child, the loss of her child, her oldest child, her only son. My heart still grieves about that, even when no one else talks about it. And I know my cousins, they probably think that the family's gone on and don't really think about it, but I think about it. I think about it often, because it shouldn't be the case. I don't care what it is we're going through. We should have someone that we can talk to. So the National Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. If you feel that you need to talk to someone, please reach out. If you think you have something going on and you're not really sure, but you're just not yourself, you haven't been yourself for quite some time, this is a confidential hotline. If you feel like you want to be more personable and you need to talk to someone else that you feel like you can relate to, by all means, reach out to someone that you know. You do not have to go at this alone. It's okay to say you are not okay. My lines are always open. Feel free to DM me, inbox me. I'll leave the numbers in the contact information in the comments. The trans lifeline, and I have to get this information because I don't know all of these numbers by heart. 877-565-8860. The National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, 800-950-6264. The Trevor Project Hotline, for LGBTQ+, 866-488-7386. There is help. There are people that care. There are individuals that want to see you succeed. You are not alone. Suicide is real, but you don't have to resort to that. I'm very passionate about this particular topic because it bothers me. It bothers me that we don't have people that we can turn to in a time of a crisis, or that we feel that we don't have people that we can turn to. It bothers me that you have so many young people with so much potential that are taking their lives because they feel rejected, because they feel left out, because they feel that they're a nobody. You are a somebody. You have more life to live. It is okay to say that you are not okay. There's nothing embarrassing about wanting to get healthy. There's nothing embarrassing about wanting to get help. I also want to give Dr. Miranda Griffin, and she chimed in, and I didn't get her in time. Dr. Miranda Griffin. She is a licensed counselor. Her email address is Dr. Miranda, Maranda, Griffin, Griffin, @outlook.com. Her phone number is 805-664-0203. She is a mentor. She is a coach. She is a licensed counselor. She is a mental health counselor. She has a PhD. There are a few more that I will actually tag in. Dr. Scott Holmes, he is licensed as well. Okay, as a matter of fact, Dr. Miranda, as I'm talking about her, she has chimed in, so let me put her in. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing well. I was just talking about you and then you chimed in. It's good to see you. It's good to hear from you.
Same here. We just came off of our bike ride.
Well, thank you again for just for even making time. I appreciate it so much. So I've been talking about suicide, the different tendencies, the stressors, some of the risk factors. I've given out some information, and you are it. I was just giving some of your credentials, but feel, by all means, take the floor. Talk to the people.
Well, thank you. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Alabama, the state of Florida, and the state of Michigan. I am also a certified telemental health provider. So what that means is that I can deliver you professional services remotely or virtually, which is perfect for our current pandemic. So if you or someone you know is in need of counseling services, I provide services for individuals and couples, and those services address mental health needs as well as transitions in life. So maybe you're going through a period of separation, divorce, working on communication, conflict, recently experienced a loss, or you're struggling with anxiety, depression, and just the stressors of life, and it's beginning to impede your ability to maximize your full potential in every area of life, and you could use the support of a professional, That's what I am here for. And I have a wealth of resources as well as colleagues and peers, because I know that not everyone is a good fit or a great fit. And so I can also provide you that information. This is year 21 for me in the profession of counseling. And so I really like to support people through different periods of life when they need that support the most. And so that's a little bit about who I am professionally, some of the services I provide, and the states in which I provide them in. I have known Miss Franklin Tate for quite some time through our military connection and affiliation, and she is a guru in suicide prevention and support. She works very well to help break down the stigma and shame that is often associated with reaching out for support. But we all go through periods of life where we experience crises and dark places and can become desolate and without hope. So just know that you're never alone. There are people here to support you, and we understand.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So in saying that, and thank you for those great accolades there. I noticed, and I was reading some information about the suicide rates and COVID-19, the pandemic. So being a licensed counselor, what have you seen? Are there any trends that you've seen, or as far as some of your patient or your clients feeling that they need more sessions here lately, or talk about that a little bit. How is that in the professional realm as far as, the licensing part?
So currently, there has been a spike in the need for wellness, self-care, counseling, mental health, psychology, psychiatry, and services of that nature because of the pandemic. What it has done is it has heightened concerns for people who already had existing conditions, and it has brought out symptoms around conditions that people might not have known that they had or that were dormant. And so because of that increased stress with uncertainty about what is going on in our country and in our nation, it's caused the need for people to be more attuned and attentive to their own self-care and wellness. And as I said, when I came in, the first time I came in, I was literally on my bike, and that obviously was not working. But people have had to become very intentional about self-care and wellness because we are working from home, many of us. Some of us were displaced from employment, which caused financial strain. Having to school children from home to get technology, all of that has done a number, so to speak, on our psyche and our well-being. And so it's a natural stress that is there. And with not seeing an end to when we're going to be able to not have to wear masks and to be able to socialize in the way that we're used to, because we don't see any type of end in mind, then that has increased that stress, and all of those unknowns for many people prompts anxiety. And so anxiety and depression are two of the most common types of mental health issues that people address in any type of environment that you could imagine. And so now those stressors and symptoms are exacerbated.
Yeah. I was reading that, and I've been seeing different cases of that. People are just not okay. They are not handling this well. And I was also mentioning a little bit earlier in the broadcast that even celebrities, no one is exempt. It's not a status thing. Again, like you said, people are facing issues now that they didn't even realize they had. But it's about, I guess, facing yourself, because when you don't have the extras, I should say, to run to and to drown yourself in. At some point, you're facing yourself. And would you say that's one of the issues that we're having, right now, that people are actually having time, even families in homes, husbands and wives, they're normally so busy with day-to-day life that they have just not talked about the problems that they've had, but because of the issues and the pandemic, even the protests have brought out different things. We're facing things now that we were running from, but now it's running into us.
Yeah, part of I think what people are experiencing in this current reality is that our normal outlets to address stress, to be able to detach from home, from spouse, from family, from your normal cares and concerns, they're not available. So for many women, we like to go and get a massage. We can't do that.
Right.
We like to get manicures and pedicures, and we're just beginning to be able to do that again with some level of safety and precaution. But many of the normal things that we're used to that help decrease our stress are no longer at our disposal. So we've, either compartmentalized and compressed that, or we've had to become creative about how do I work off this natural stress that my body is experiencing and absorbing so that these concerns and symptoms don't overwhelm me. And when you add in where we are politically, where we are in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, the racial climate, the sheer hatred that's going on in our society, that compounds all of the issues. And if you're watching it on the television, that could potentially be part of the problem, and contributing to the condition, because you're not guarding your eye gate, you're not guarding your ear gate. And the more that you allow yourself to be consumed with those things, you're going to think on those things, and they're going to shape what your perspective is and what your worldview is. And so you have to, again, be very intentional during this time and attuned to your own wellness, self-care, and creating that balance for yourself. You have to get unique about how you do that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's a time for creative outlets. I've seen some people have taken up coloring, which is not a bad thing. They have adult coloring. Whatever works at this point, is really needed, and it's not just affecting any particular age. It's affecting everyone, even the babies. The babies are tired of being in the house. Elementary kids, the high school kids, they're tired of the social distancing. They're tired of the quarantine. And on top of that, you have the racial issues. So it's as if we're in two different pandemics. Well, an epidemic and a pandemic, or two pandemics, or we're in a mess. We're basically in a mess right now, and you can't run from it. We're at a place where we have to face it. What are you telling? Can you give us something to take away?
So I definitely encourage adult coloring. There is a lot of information that supports the use of adult coloring. One, for ADHD, for anxiety, nervousness, and stress, because it causes you to focus solely on what you're engaging with. I encourage you to lean into thoughts that speak life and not thoughts that speak death, to lean into your supports, to talk. Don't hold it in, because our bodies are already absorbing a lot of stress, and then that creates a certain level of toxicity inside of the body, and then we start to begin to see physiological symptoms of that: headache, chest pain, tightness in your neck, all of those things. So leaning into your supports, whether they're family members, friends, hotlines, professionals, playing digital games. with friends, going out for a walk, starting your day 10 or 15 minutes early just to sit outside in nature. There's so many health benefits for just going outside. There's a lot of information out now about taking nature walks. There's a lot of different things that we can do that are still safe to do, where we can use social distancing, we can wear our masks, we can do our sanitizing. Reading self-help books and resources, again, that help to replenish, to restore, to renew, and to give you positive types of thoughts. If you find yourself consumed with watching the news, being overly concerned and panicked, then that is a warning sign, a trigger to you that you need to unplug. You might need to go on a digital detox. Put your phone on airplane mode for certain periods of the day or night. Rest, drink water. When it's time to leave work, unplug.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have anything to do, because that is your time for renewal. It's so very, very important. Deep breathing techniques, yoga, and exercise. All of those are some different strategies that you can do on your own, virtually, to help balance some of the stressors that we are currently incurring.
Okay. Well, Dr. Miranda, I want to thank you for the last minute. Thank you so much for coming on. If you could, again, please give out your contact information for anyone that would like to talk to you, get your services. I am an advocate. I thank you as a mentor. I'm always stalking what you write, going back to our all of our information. You know, I keep everything. So thank you for what you have imparted in me. I appreciate it. If you could give out your information again, and I'll make sure I put the links in the comments below afterwards.
All right. So I am at the website www.mgconsultation.com. That same handle is represented on my page in Facebook as well as Instagram, and it's just the letter M, the letter G, the word consultation altogether.com. My email address is Dr. Miranda Griffin, so DRMARANDA Griffin, all one word, at outlook.com.
All right. Thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I don't know why we aren't friends on Facebook, but I'm going to change that as soon as this broadcast is over. But again, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you do, all of the people that you help. We appreciate, we thank you, and I thank you for everyone. If you have not heard that today or this week, thank you for everything that you do and just for being the person that you are. I love your slogan. You love people. You want to see people win. And that is truly the person that you are. So thank you again for tuning in with us. And share the broadcast also and we're here every Thursday. Thank you for the push, for the leap, and believing in me and pushing me to do the things that I said that I was going to do 2 years ago, but we're finally here. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a good night. So we're so glad that Dr. Miranda was on, that she was able to jump in. I'll make sure I put all of her information into the comments. Feel free, please reach out to her. She is great. She's a mentor. She's a life coach. She's a licensed counselor. So our time is winding near, and I want to thank you all for rocking with me on tonight, riding this bumpy road, talking about this topic of suicide. Just recapping a little bit, I'll make sure that I put all of the numbers, the resources, the contacts into the comment box. The National Suicide Hotline, again, 800-273 8255. 800-273-8255. See if I can put them up as fast as I talk. The Trevor Project Hotline for LGBTQ is 866-488-7386. Again, that number is 866-488-7386. The Trans Lifeline, 877-565-8860. Again, 877-565-8860. The National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, 800-950-6264. 800-950-6264. I want to make sure I leave with this particular comment. It is okay to say that you are not okay. It is okay to say that you are not okay. If you feel that you need someone to talk to, if you feel like you're having issues and you just can't put your finger on it, please reach out to someone. If you feel that you need to talk to your pastor or your first lady or your guidance counselor, a family member, a friend, find someone to talk to. You are not alone. I don't care what the situation is, what it was, there is help. You are not alone. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Unmuted. Tonight's topic, suicide is real. Check on me. I'm not okay. If you don't take anything from this episode tonight, please take this. Check on someone. Check on that strong friend. They may not be okay. Check on that friend that you hadn't talked to in a while. They may not be okay. Check on your brother. He may not be okay. Don't forget your sister. She may not be okay. Check on someone. Let's make sure that our people are okay. Again, my name is Felicia Franklin. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unmuted. Feel free to share the post. If you would like to watch the replay, it will be available. I will make sure that I drop the resources, the different links, and the phone numbers in the comment box. I will even make sure that I add Dr. Miranda Griffin's, her email, her website, and a few other resources that I do have, some other licensed counselors, some life coaches. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to leave a comment, send a message, whatever you need. If I can't help you, I'll make sure I find someone that can. That's what it's all about. Don't go through this alone. You don't have to. We're speaking up, we're speaking out, we're speaking life. We will no longer be muted. We are unmuted. You all have a good night. Thank you.